Hey everyone, this is Kenny or Kent or whatever you want to call me, and you're listening to The Other Show. So I think we're about to see the downfall of Taylor Swift. I think the world has become ready to watch her burn in a way. Now hear me out. And I'm not saying I'm one of these people that's like, I'm so sick of Taylor Swift being on in NFL games. Like, I don't watch the NFL.
Right.
I don't watch the Grammys. I don't listen to popular music. I don't care. But it does, I guess popular music, though, does affect culture, and so I get a little annoyed. But outside of that, I'm kind of worried for her. Okay, I think we're about to see a Britney Spears circa 2006 meltdown.
She's shaving her head.
Oh my gosh.
And we'll see, because here's the thing, right? We love our celebrities. We love our heroes. And so we've built her up for the past 15 years, right? We're all wine moms crying in the bathtub, drinking wine, listening to Taylor Swift. She's speaking to me, right? And so here she is a couple weeks ago, winning big on the Grammys. Oh, yay, it's Taylor Swift. But you could tell people were a little annoyed that Taylor Swift was winning again. You could tell they were a little, put out when she didn't really hug Celine Dion when she accepted her award for Album of the Year. And it's like,
who
okay.
does not hug Celine Dion? Like, I would die for that moment.
That's so cute.
But to be fair, Celine Dion does also have an autoimmune disorder that
yes,
is very painful.
And if
her.
I did hug her, she probably would just crumple in a mess.
She would probably break.
Yep.
And maybe it's worth it, though. It might be worth it for you.
It's on my bucket list.
And now we have Taylor Swift's boyfriend winning the Super Bowl. Yay, whatever. Football, great. Okay, so that's two major wins in such a short time. And then she's announced that in April, her next album is coming out. So she puts out an album every 3 months, right? And it's just, and sometimes they're re-releases of her old stuff, but she has a new album coming out, which means she's going to sell millions of albums. She's going to get ready for another concert. She's going to be on top of the world, maybe winning Best Album of the Year again. And I think her boyfriend winning the Super Bowl was possibly the worst thing for her career. I think she needs to be humbled a little bit. And if her boyfriend lost, or she could break up with him and then maybe possibly become a victim in this instead of always being the winner, because nobody likes a winner. I'm honestly thinking that it is time for her to kind of disappear for a little bit, or to go crazy.
It's one and the same.
Well,
what do you think? Am I crazy? Am I crazy? Because think about it. Do we like seeing people on top for that long? I don't think so.
No, the thing is, I think why people are so annoyed with Taylor in the football realm of things is it really is she's the super popular cheerleader, right? And as much as that is a part of football, people who are not the star quarterback or the star player who are dating the head cheerleader, they hate the head cheerleader. And they want to see the head cheerleader fail.
Yeah, we want to see her have an early pregnancy and live at home for a while. And I feel like
at 34,
I feel like we're just reciting Taylor Swift lyrics at this point. Let's be honest. I don't know, Jess. I know you have quirky taste in music, but you is that fair to say?
Is that what you? Is that how you describe K-pop?
I mean, it's super successful.
I mean, listen, Kenny, the only one that was going to give Taylor a run for her money was BTS.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they're all in the military now.
Except for Jungkook, right?
No, he's in the military.
Is he in the military as well?
Yeah, he dropped his album and left.
Wow.
If they don't come back and they do a Village People song in the Navy, I'm going to be really disappointed.
Exactly 0 groups have done that. But
hey,
you can dream.
They're on top of the world. That's how you get even more on top. And that sounded really bad.
I want to see In the Navy at number 1 in 2025.
I'm gonna be right here. I'm gonna be queuing this episode to be played next year. You're all gonna be like, man, Josh knows what he's talking about.
He's a K-pop prophet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hey,
100%.
that's my rapping name.
Oh no.
Oh my gosh. I will say with Taylor Swift, I think currently with everything like with the Celine Dion thing, and I think that's kind of drawn people's attention to stuff that she's done in the past that's been a little bit questionable. And I think
Like murdering people? Like,
have
what do you
been
mean?
looking back a little bit. I mean, like, dating racists and like openly racist people, and like there's
What?
she's just
What don't I know? Now I'm like, ooh, I'm reading up on this.
you can go and see some stuff. There's a lot of like questionable stuff that I feel like a lot of people have overlooked throughout her whole career.
Okay.
That people are starting to go back and take a look at now.
Mm.
Also, Travis Kelce, maybe not the greatest person either. I'm just
Well, I
saying.
think we saw in that game the kind of temper that he has.
Mhm.
Yeah. Also, his ex-girlfriend said some stuff too. So
Oh.
I mean,
There's a whole-
I read his Wikipedia
Yes, I'm so glad you're here.
during
Yeah, you've got it covered.
hmm Like, I felt bad when he was screaming at Andy Reid.
Yeah.
Oh man, like I felt like somebody was yelling at my dad. I'm like, you
Right?
don't yell at my dad. And I kind of got a little defensive there, but
Of course you did.
but then I forgot about it after 5 minutes.
Yeah, I know. It's football. Who cares?
Yeah.
Anyways, enough about Taylor Swift because
Yes,
everyone's talking about
please.
her. Josh, speaking of excess,
Mhm.
the episode last week.
Oh yes.
Did you just forget to push stop? I mean, and by the way,
I mean-
I say this to say thanks for covering for Spencer and I.
Oh yeah.
I appreciate it. But I don't know, Jess, you listen to the show.
Josh, I liked it. I think that every week.
Thank you.
I think every week you should do a solo episode with you and 10 friends.
Wait,
hey,
that doesn't count.
that's a new podcast right there.
That takes away the solo term from it.
I mean, my favorite thing was I listened to maybe 10 minutes of it last week when I was at work, and you were talking to Marianne, and you're like, hey, just sit down for a few minutes. And I was like, this is a 2.5 hour long show. What do you mean sit down for a few minutes? But I did finally finish it today, and I really enjoyed it, actually.
Thank you.
It was really good. It was fun to hear from like everyone and all the different stuff.
It was a lot of fun putting it together and just talking to people, because ended up calling like half of the Patreon people, and
Yeah.
it was a lot of fun.
I just love that, like, I think you're trying to cover for Spencer for the entire month in one episode.
Yeah.
Right? That was multiple episodes worth of content.
I mean,
And I'm proud of you.
I did get Dave on the show, and we did talk about wieners. So I got it all covered with Spencer being gone.
The other show is not complete without Wiener Talk.
And there was like 2 sports talks.
Oh yeah, Spencer. We're still not going to talk about it when you're back on the show.
Okay, we'll talk about superheroes and stuff. Maybe.
Maybe.
Probably not.
Well, when I'm gone next, you can. Whatever.
Yeah, I actually wonder if people would be okay with that if you were gone and Spencer and I just geeked out.
I'm
For
sure
2.5
they're like,
hours.
Oh, good. Josh is gone.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Please. Anyways, thank you for covering for that.
It was a lot of fun, and even the other show, that was an hour and a half. So I did about 4 hours of podcasting last week.
Are you joking?
No,
Why would you do that to yourself?
because I forgot the code word.
You're like, I can't stop. I forgot how to sign off.
Yeah.
What am I doing here?
No, it was fun though, because it was essentially just mine and Marianne's story from meeting
Yeah.
up to our wedding day. So yeah, it was an hour and a half long.
Wow.
Had a lot of details to hash out, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
As much as I was getting together with my wife, I was also kind of going through a nasty divorce of sorts.
Yeah.
I went through 2 at once.
Oh. It's so true, man. Jess, 2016, right? 2016.
The worst and the best, really.
Yeah. Wait, which person did you dislike more?
Oh.
Hmm.
I mean, it's really well.
Well, one you had to live with, and one wanted you to dedicate all your time. Huh.
I will say the one that I lived with was definitely less exhausting and definitely less definitely less traumatizing. So
Oh, that's so sad.
But I feel it. I know it's true. That's the thing.
Yeah. Welcome to our trauma circle, everybody.
Mhm, yes.
Hey, if you know, you know. Anyways,
It's called therapy.
Josh, I know that we have so many phone calls that we need to get through.
Yes,
And I know that we kind of have like a major theme that we want to get to as well, but I want to get through and give people their time because people did call us in droves.
Yes.
So we'll play a few of those, if you don't mind.
But before we get to those phone calls, I did not want to forget that we have a Patreon upgrade just recently, just as of like yesterday. So Melanie Millring, she upgraded from the More Than Friends tier to the Friends with Benefits.
Nice.
So she is on the top tier. So we have 3 more spots until the Friends with Benefits tier is booked solid, because we capped that at 12 people. So Melanie, welcome.
Seriously.
You are not just More Than Friends, you are Friends with Benefits. So thank you.
All right. Season of love over here.
Yeah, if you want to join Melanie and others, you can join us on Patreon at patreon.com/The Other Show, where you can get an 1.5 hour long story about my love.
My love. Oh, that was so cute. Okay. And now some phone calls.
Hey boys, it's Wade. Just wanted to wish Spencer a very, very happy congratulations on the birth of their new baby. Remember, Spencer, children are truly gifts from God until they learn to talk. Josh, Spencer, Kenny, happy 1 year doing the other show. I know it's late. January 11th, I believe, was your 1 year mark. I wish you all well, and let's get another year out of you guys. Take care. Goodbye.
Thank you, Wade. Much appreciated. I mean, even if it's a belated congratulations to us on the show, great. But also, hey, Spencer, you better be listening, because enjoy that child while it cannot speak. Yes. I think that's the theme that we got there.
What happens when they start talking?
Yeah.
Listen, the speaking isn't the problem. It's the opinions that are the problem.
No, yeah, it's true. When they first start talking, and then you kind of like, you love what they say, because it's always like, hold you me. Yeah. And you're like, oh my gosh, this is the freaking cutest. Until then they understand English, and you're like, this is the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was on the airplane the other day, and there was a 3-year-old who, for a 2-hour flight, he's my best friend. And I didn't know this kid. What's this? What's this? What's this? And he was like pointing at the light or the fans or whatever, the window. I'm like, that's a window. And I'm like, I'm some 42-year-old drifter sitting by some 3-year-old. And his mom's like, yeah, he's going to talk to you the whole time. I'm like, are you okay with that? So there's a point when it's too much. But I think Spencer will have a couple of years of goodness.
That's much better than when I was on the flight to Seattle. And I had an Asian couple that just handed me their baby so they could take pictures of me holding their baby. I have no idea why. And maybe they thought that I was a celebrity, but at that point, like, in my life, I'm like, the closest thing that I came to was probably Brendan Fraser. Anyway, his last role.
No, not The Whale. Stop it. You mean 1998 cinematic masterpiece, The Mummy, starring Rachel Weisz.
I'll go with
That's
that.
what you mean.
I'll go with that.
Because you had a butt cut and everything.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
But anyway, yeah. No, much better.
Okay, so we got another call. This person seems pretty mysterious. We're going to give it a shot.
Hey, guys. Sorry I have to be quiet. I'm at the hospital, Stephanie and baby Howie. I just needed to check real quick to see if Kent was able to pick up my Mountain Dew Whiteout and the ketchup chips while he was in Canada for me. You guys haven't been responding to my text messages, so I thought I'd try and call. Yeah, if you could just let me know. Thanks.
Weird.
I'm sorry, was your baby crying for you in the background?
Yeah. No, just voicing an opinion.
I also think I like that he's overly concerned with Mountain Dew Whiteout and ketchup chips while his wife is going through this tremendous sacrifice.
This is Spencer. Nothing really surprises me, to be
Yeah.
honest with you.
Well, listen, now that I'm here, and well, Spencer's still not, I barely found regular Mountain Dew. I only found, I couldn't even find Diet Dew or any flavored Dew. There's a surprising lack of Mountain Dew at all.
And isn't it because it's caffeine free? Is that right?
You know, there was caffeinated, but most places, like outside of the States, it is caffeine free, which is disgusting. Like, why would you even mess with that?
Yeah.
But ketchup chips, I did eat some, but I hate them. And so why would I put those in my bag? I think police dogs would have stopped me from getting on a plane if I had ketchup chips, because that's against customs, because they're disgusting.
You want to know a funny story, though, about outside of, the U.S., even though this is still in the U.S., it's in Hawaii. But this was something my dad told me, because my dad used to work for the LDS Church and the distribution services, which would distribute everything around wherever the LDS Church had, a place or location or center. Anyway, the Polynesian Cultural Center in Hawaii had Pepsi products for their drinks, right? They had Mountain Dew on tap. It was caffeine free. They didn't tell anybody. This was before, this was about at least 10 years before the church kind of came out and said, oh, well, it's okay.
Fine. It's fine. Drink
okay
whatever.
Drink.
Yeah.
It's okay to drink caffeine. But yeah, they would have caffeine free Mountain Dew, Pepsi, and everything on tap. They just didn't tell anybody that it was caffeine free.
Wow. And that means that everyone was drinking it being like, guys, this caffeine's getting to me. I'm going to stay up all night. Whoa, this is crazy. And it's caffeine free.
Yeah, and they're asleep by 9:30.
Okay, I'm going to queue up the next one here.
Hey, Josh, this is Brandon. I hate to bring something up from another podcast, but on the party in the back, you said Disney should remove Star Tours, and I just want to say that is a terrible take. I would rather they remove Smuggler's Run before they remove Star Tours. I just think it had to be said. Thanks.
Josh, tell me about this hot take of yours.
Okay.
Because I'm with Team Brandon. Star Tours is legacy, right? Sure, the line is outdated, but the ride is super cool. If we're going for an arcade game, I'd way rather do that one than a little pod that goes up and down.
Okay.
Right, I know it's the same sort of feel, and you control the steering.
Star Tours still exists?
Yeah, and it's great. And it's great.
No,
it's in the wrong park. Sure.
Yes.
Okay. They can mess with that. Smuggler's Run is a waste of friggin' space.
Only if you're the engineer.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. If you're the engineer, it's like, why am I even here?
Dude, pilot's good times. Good times.
Yeah, pilot's good time, but why does it take up that much space? I mean, here we have Universal building out their parks to the extreme, and in the next couple of years, and Disney's like, we have a ride and a half in Batuu. Is that good enough? It's not. It's not anymore.
Yeah.
Take that out. Give us some land speeders. Give us a pod race, and we'll be happy.
See, they just need to get rid of Star Tours. I mean, granted,
No. It's in Tomorrowland. Who cares?
Well,
it's not hurting anybody.
It's true. Nobody cares about Tomorrowland anyway. Even Disney.
Space Mountain called.
Well, okay, maybe Space Mountain, but honestly, even Disneyland right now has not been giving Tomorrowland the love or the attention that it desperately needs.
Yeah.
But
I don't think I even went to Tomorrowland when we went because Space Mountain
Yeah.
was closed.
Oh, yeah.
So there was no point.
that's the only reason why anybody really goes to Tomorrowland. And if you're going there for Autotopia, I question, everything about you.
Yeah, it's so true. And do they still have the land of tomorrow? What is it called? The carousel of tomorrow or whatever it is.
Walt Disney World, oh gosh,
You remember how they have that that center there? It's taking up space.
The Carousel of Progress.
That's the one.
That's
Thank
at
you.
Walt Disney World. That's still open. That closed in Disneyland back in the 70s.
Yeah, but why don't they put anything in the place of it? You know?
They don't know what to do with it. It's been a meet and greet for Star Wars for a few years. It's been
Hmm.
innovations. Obviously, America Sings for the longest time. So
Okay.
that's why with Tomorrowland, they just need to tear most, or if not all of it out and just redo it.
Would you be okay if they moved Star Tours over to Batu?
I won't say no, but I will say it just feels like Star Tours and Smuggler's Run it's redundant, right?
Okay.
I
Yeah.
do feel like Smuggler's Run is a little bit more of an upgrade. It is more of an upgrade than Star Tours because it's more interactive. But
And I think the look and feel is right because it is kind of weird when you get onto Star Tours. I think the video is way cool.
Mhm.
But when you're sitting in that room full of people and you're all just kind of moving up and down,
oh yeah,
it's a bummer.
Yeah.
But I think the videos are cool.
it's just as cool as riding the video version of the Alpine slide at the 49th Street Galleria. Let's be honest.
That's heresy. That's not okay. I'm Team Brandon. Listen, if there's anything worth going to Tomorrowland for, if Disney's not going to change it for a while,
Mhm.
it is Star Tours and it is Space Mountain. And then on your way back, wait for 5 minutes for Buzz Lightyear. Right, that is it.
Yeah, I mean,
But honestly, if they changed it and kind of renovated,
yeah,
not just for
they need
current
to
issue
do
stuff, but
something.
better rides.
They need to do something. They need to add something into Galaxy's Edge. They need to redo Tomorrowland. And they will. I mean, they'll eventually get to that, but they've got so many other projects with Disneyland next and everything that they're going to be building out on. So, who knows?
Jess, have you heard about the Universal Parks? How they're expanding those?
I have not.
They're making How to Train Your Dragon, like the Land of Berk.
Oh my gosh.
I know. They're adding another Harry Potter land, so you're going to get what else is it? It's like another world of magic. I think it's the don't remember. But they're totally expanding that. What else is there? Anyways, it's going to be awesome. And obviously this isn't going to be done for years. But Disney needs to now step up their game. I know Walt Disney World has Pandora and the Tron ride and everything, and the Guardians ride that they don't have in California. But I think California itself needs to up their game.
Yeah, and which they are. They're going to be expanding across the street. There'll be there's Frozen Land that's expected to go in there, and possibly Zootopia. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what they do, but just don't forget about Tomorrowland.
And
is Frozen confirmed? Because we were half debating going to Beijing just to take Felix to
Shanghai.
My brain. Shanghai. Just to go to Frozen Land.
It's not confirmed, but the rumors are there. Plus, I was watching one of my favorite YouTubers, Disney YouTubers, Bricky, and he was talking about how if you overlay Zootopia or Frozen Land right over where they're planning on expanding across the road, it fits perfectly within that footprint. So, all indications, everything's kind of pointing toward that, because the way that you would get to Frozen Land they would be opening up essentially Critter Country, that dead end over at Pook Corner, and that would be a perfect transition. Going from the wooden Critter Country into Frozen Land and everything. So, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know how this.
I know. Sorry, that was
how my bad take just turned into this. But I mean, I could talk
tangent of theme parks now. Yeah. Okay, we got another call. Here we go.
Hi, Josh. Kent, it's me again. I just have to vent. I got home, and Stephanie and the baby are still at the hospital, and Hazel's with Grandma. So it's just Juno and the cats at home. Well, Juno had a little accident in the downstairs, and the Roomba got to it.
So now I have to mop the entire downstairs. This is going to be a ton of fun. I just needed to vent for a little bit. But in another potty-related story, Stephanie and I made a bet as I was changing Howie's diaper that the first person to get peed on has to buy dinner for the other. And right as soon as Stephanie had said yes, Howie peed on me. So I'm beginning to think they're in cahoots. I might be outnumbered still.
So it's almost like Spencer forgot about what it's like to have a new baby and pets in the same house.
And
apparently a Roomba, who is like a terrorist Roomba.
Oh my gosh. I could only imagine that mess. I mean, that's going all over the place.
You know that if he were here, this would be a 15-minute story about the smearing and everything he had to do to take care of it. Thankfully, we can keep it pretty short at about a 2-minute phone call.
All right, have you experienced that with any of your pets? An Roomba or...
So I don't have a Roomba, but yeah, Jess, do you?
My Roomba behaves.
What do you what do you mean? It's a robot. It's not like it's serving you hot pots. What do you mean?
It's never like it's. Or my cats behave, both. I don't know.
Wait, your cats don't all of a sudden run to the carpet and go, "Bleh, bleh, bleh."
Oh yeah, that's why they were here in the office, is I had one cat that did that all of the time.
Yeah.
But like Artie doesn't.
Okay.
He's like,
Josh, what about the Disney
he's a
cats?
good boy.
Are they purposeful? Like, are they revenge pukers or more?
Roy is the worst. And I swear he does it deliberately and with malice, because that cat, like, especially because we lock him up downstairs in the basement at night.
Yeah,
because it's
rude.
Well, I felt bad for the longest time that we were doing this until I was watching somebody who fosters cats. He locks them down in the basement as well. So I'm like, okay, if he does that, and if he fosters cats, like, he has a purer heart than me. So yeah. I'm fine with locking him down there. But Roy hates it, and he'll spend the whole day there. But as soon as it's time to go to bed, like, he hates it, and he gives you the side eye and everything. So when he comes up the next morning, he'll eat a little bit. And then I swear he'll just try to make eye contact with you. And then that's when he does the heave, because he has no soul. Like, that cat. Oh, I love the cat. They're the sweetest cats, right? Like, we haven't been bit or hissed at or anything, but they revenge puke. At least Roy
for sure.
Does. Yeah.
Yeah, my cat does.
Oh.
Anyways, so we're going to move from vomit to another kind of vomit. We're going to talk about love real quick.
Oh, I mean, it is Valentine's Day today.
Yeah, I mean, I know that post-Valentine's Day, no one cares about love, so it's already dated.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so I know we do have a phone call that correlates with this, and we can just kick it off with stories at that point.
This one starts with Mrs. Robinson. Yeah, the final one. This is Mrs. Robinson.
The final phone call? Here we go.
Hey, this is Mrs. Robinson, and contrary to what my name kind of means, I'm giving my bad date story, by the way, if I'm not too late. I am a pretty shy person and a late bloomer. When I started kindergarten, backstory, the year I started, they took all the kids who turned 5 through October 31st. My birthday is October 11th, so I started kindergarten at 11. And didn't turn 16 till I was a junior in high school. So I was a little bit, kind of behind, late bloomer, whatever. My friends all wanted to do a dance and go with dates. And they said, come find a date. And well, I was too shy to ask somebody. Well, they both worked at Circus World. If you remember Circus World in Sandy, it's a bowling lane place now, but on State Street. And their boss, or manager there, they said, oh, he's a nice guy. You should ask him and we can all have fun together. So I did. And his name is Hans. Can I say that? You can bleep out his name. I don't know where he is today, but I asked him. We go to the dance. Everything's fine. Well, he was fixing up this car, this old Mustang. And after the dance, we were going to go to my friend's house and play some games and stuff. I mean, and I'm shy and awkward, and I don't know how to do small talk, and it's my first date, and I'm dumb. But we're driving to my friend's house, and all of a sudden his car dies. And he pulls over to the side of the road. It was in the river bottoms. I grew up in Riverton, so it's that area before it was all developed and things. And he pulls over to kind of the side of the road, pounds on the steering wheel, and starts to cry. This is like my worst nightmare. I can't, I have no words. I don't know what to say. I kind of just giggled nervously and being like, so what do we do? I mean, yes, I'm sorry. And floundering. And he's just kind of sitting there crying. And miraculously, my friends who forced me to go on this date pulled up just then, drove by and saw us, pulled over. We got to the other house. And he proceeded to spend the rest of the evening sulking on the couch while we tried to play games and stuff. And never went out with him again. So anyway, that was my first date ever and my worst date ever. Anyway, love the show. Talk to you guys later. Bye.
I was waiting for like
man.
the rest of the American Nightmare story, you know?
Yeah, I know that was a good ending. I think non and
Yeah.
like kind of like not having it be a traumatic thing
Yes.
is the best possible ending for
Yes.
that.
Though, especially, yes.
Because how scary, right? Like we all want to be a fly on the wall for awkward times. We don't want to be in the car.
No.
Like, we don't want to be
No.
involved.
I think you're fine with using his name, Hans. Is it Hans or Hans?
Well, he wasn't very handsy, so I think we're going to go with
No.
Hans.
Yeah, he did behave.
Although he's a crier.
I wish
Although-
I wish everybody could have seen Jess's face right there.
Yeah, Jess, are you okay? Did you drop a cat? I think Jess dropped a cat.
I hit the desk and already about tore my sweater to shreds. So
Oh, yeah.
that's fun. Like,
I think
Sorry.
Jess, you gave a face like, "Oh, I've dated Hans before."
I mean, I might have.
Yeah.
I don't remember all their
Did
names.
he work at Circus World?
I've dated at least one guy that worked at some circus.
No, honestly. Thank you for calling though and giving us that story because it takes some guts to be like,
Yeah.
yeah, not every date's great. And let me tell you about this one.
Yeah.
I made a podcast career out of it, so
That's true. That's true. We could we could just rip a whole bunch of old stories and just put a montage of them together.
I know. And I hear my voice crack as I'm like, what do I do? I almost got stabbed.
I'm trying to think. I've had a few pretty awkward. The one that stands out though, and I'm so grateful that it was a double date because I met this girl. First off, I met this girl in 2004 on LDS Singles. So, I mean, that kind of sets up the time period and the sketchiness of it all.
Oh, yeah.
But we went to go pick up the girl, and no joke, she came out with 3 Beanie Babies.
What?
It was like, I think it was a lobster, I think it was a bear, and a frog or a lizard or something. Anyway, but she brought these on the date, and I kid you not. I mean, I don't know. Like, sometimes I feel bad telling this story because it was so awkward. Because I'm like, I think there was maybe something wrong with her because she would talk to the Beanie Babies. She was trying to have this conversation with me through one of the Beanie Babies as well, and I'm like, is this a therapy session? Like,
were you talking to the lobster?
I did.
What kind of voice did you use?
My regular voice. I mean,
you were like, will you ask your mom if she likes to go out and see movies? Like, what are her hobbies?
It was awkward. And my friends, I mean, thank goodness that they were there, because they even, like, when we dropped her off, they're like, you're not going out with her again, are you? I'm like, no. Okay, good. But, like, she never brought up any of this. Like,
did you get a hug, or did she place the Beanie Babies right square? You looked it right in the eye.
All 4 of us got hugs.
Wait, hugs? I was thinking straight on the little lips.
Oh,
right on the beanie lips.
Have you ever tried to kiss a lobster? It was one of the most awkward, and it was pretty painful. But I'm sitting here and I'm like, I don't know. I didn't even know what to say because it was just it was so out there. But I don't know. I also think though that I probably was like my wife's most awkward date as well. You know, because
You mean the first time you met, or like an actual date after?
An actual date
when you guys met.
Well,
Okay.
So it was our third date, right? And we had started watching Stranger Things.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she understands now why it was awkward and that she has to be pretty forward with me because that night she wore her Disneyland. She had a Disneyland hoodie of Mickey and Minnie kissing and everything. She wanted to be my shapoopy, you know? And I was clueless, completely clueless. And she thought that I wasn't into her or whatever. No.
Were you trying to be a gentleman, or were you just like, hey, I don't know how I should proceed here with the first move?
I mean, granted, like both of us never really had great success with dating.
Okay.
And so you get to that point.
Okay.
Yeah, you get to that point like after 40 as well, where you're just like whatever, and you're not in the game because you hate the game, right? And so you just don't play it, and then you're like, oh my gosh, I'm in the middle of the game and I don't know what I'm doing. You're like, I feel like I'm playing Xbox, and like XXX shift X, I have no idea what I'm doing. And
the fact he said shift on an Xbox controller. It's anyways.
Spacebar?
Yeah, okay. No, I get what you're saying though, because sometimes the nerves come into play, right?
Yeah, and you don't want to ruin it either, right?
I mean, even though it was the perfect scenario, everything I learned post-divorce was you never kiss on the doorstep. You always do it when you're watching a movie because it's so easy. You're right there. It's dark. I mean, you're already breaking the touch barrier, and you're gonna make out pretty quickly. And that's what she was waiting for.
Yes.
She wanted you to be the shapoopy in that moment, and you got there clearly.
The next date, right? So after I talked it over with my sisters and my.
Wait, so you left? You left that date going, sorry, cool.
Well,
here's a hug.
I didn't even realize it until I was talking to my sisters about how the date went, and they're like, she wanted you to kiss her. And so like I didn't. But the thing is, I mean, I could have gone in. Honestly, I probably could have gone in for the kiss on the second date.
There's a part of me that I wish we were friends, because I know it was kind of our dark ages.
Yes.
When you were dating Marianne, but at the same time, it's so good that we weren't, because I may have helped you ruin it. Because clearly it all worked out. My advice, I don't know.
God's timing is in all of it.
I mean, I'm 7 years in right now, so maybe my advice isn't that good. But I would have liked to be part of that whole thing where you came to me and you're like, I didn't kiss her. She wanted me to. And I'm like, okay, here's the master plan. Here's exactly what you need to do.
Yeah.
Because Jess, I don't know if Jess, do you remember, I mean, you and I went through divorces near about the same time back in the day.
Yeah.
And, we weren't totally open about it on the show, but we did kind of open up after a bit. And then obviously things just kind of fell apart with, some other show. So
yeah.
My goal was post-divorce, because I kissed 4 girls previous to getting married. Because I was...
Yeah, you wanted to double that, right?
Yeah, my goal was to double my first year of dating. And Josh, you and I...
2 weeks later.
Even though... Yeah, roll. So I kissed 7 people my first year of being single. I got 7 spicy chicken sandwiches. And it was the cool... Josh, spicy chicken sandwiches means making out. It doesn't mean the actual spicy chicken sandwich.
Okay.
It did. It was supposed to.
I was supposed to...
Shift key.
I was supposed to get spicy chicken sandwiches for each makeout. But it's code. And Josh, you and I were very similar. I mean, granted... it may have taken you a few more years to get there, but as far as the awkwardness in getting there, it took me a lot, and honestly, a lot of lessons post-divorce.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, I was off and running.
How many spicy chicken sandwiches do you have now?
You don't even want to know.
You got a franchise going, don't you?
Internationally.
No, I want to know. I want to know.
Jess, I wouldn't be able to tell you an exact number.
Oh, come on. It's in your
fair.
journal. Go get it.
It's possibly, I do have a Google Doc with all the
gosh.
nicknames listed. So,
Oh my gosh.
and I'll never share it with anybody. Even my future significant other, if she's like, let me see it, I'm like, I'm gonna throw my computer at the wall. Because every nickname, whether it's, I mean, the girl next door, the actress, the Amazon, the midget, the catfish, I mean, you name it. It's
the catfish.
it's too many.
Even.
Actually, she was a half catfish because I wasn't sure.
Oh, that's right.
What was going on there?
That's
Yeah,
right.
remember? And I don't know. I mean, I can go in and tell stories. Maybe I'll tell this. Like when I was to talk about my awkwardness and me being a bad date. Maybe a story I haven't told as much as the other ones. When I was 23 years old, I was on a third date with someone that I really liked, and we had not even touched or grazed arms. And we'd been to a movie. I wanted to kiss her so bad, but we just hadn't because I didn't know how, Josh. Kind of like where you were at.
Mm-hmm.
And my sisters weren't helping me out at all.
Well, that's mean.
I know. I was like, hey, it's third date. I'm going to walk her up to the doorstep. This was early 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I'm going to walk her to the front doorstep. And you know what? Actually, we had grazed and like broke the touch barrier because I think the date before she bit or she tried to bite my neck. We were talking about vampires or something. And she like bit my neck and I was like, holy cow.
Did she have any Beanie Babies?
Actually, I think it's a lobster claw that got my neck. So, but like she bit my neck and I'm like, oh, that's so cool. I'm going to make a joke out of it. So I'm thinking, okay, listen, it's our third date. I'm walking her to the door and she lived at home. This was like, I think I was going to Utah State at the time and I was home for the summer. She was home for the summer. I'm walking her to the door and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to break the tension. I'm going to like tell a joke and then we're going to kiss and it's going to be great. And I'm like, oh, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to act like I'm getting revenge for her biting me on the neck. This will be perfect. And then while we're laughing about it.
Don't really bite her neck, Kent.
Well, here's the thing. We're going to laugh about it. And then we're going to be close. Our faces will be like inches within each other. And then I'm going to go for the kiss. And it's going to be this wonderful moment. Well,
it always sounds better in your head.
We get to the door and I do my thing where I'm like, well, cool. Like, thanks. That was like a lot of fun. Thanks for coming to dinner. Like, that was cool. Well, I guess I better say goodnight. And she's like, yeah. And she looks at me, beautiful brown eyes, moonlight shining in them. And I'm like, here we go. Then all of a sudden I become Bela Lugosi and I go, and I reach around to like, and I'm doing this, like my full fangs out and I'm going down for the side of her neck. I don't know where my brain was. I was going to bite her. I was going to bite her neck. And then so she slaps her neck right where I'm about to bite and she goes, hey, no biting. And I was like, oh. And I was like, I was about to say like, oh, it was just a joke. It was just a joke. And then go for the kiss. As soon as she yelled, hey, no biting, I heard a yell from the front window where her mom was waiting for us.
Oh, no.
And her mom said, yells out the window, hey, what's going on out there? What are you guys doing? And then I went, oh, and I ran away. I ran away without hugging her. I think I said, sorry. And I ran to my car and drove away as fast as I could. I'm the bad date.
Yes, you are.
So, listen, I'm the American Nightmare. I'm a vampire. Jess, your turn.
Man, how do I follow that up?
So, Jess, I know you got pretty lucky because I remember you went through your divorce. And
I got lucky.
Well,
Oh,
no,
yeah.
you went through your divorce, and we obviously were talking a lot about because you kind of led into the app dating first, and I was like, oh, this is kind of a crazy world, and then, but in short time, you met your husband, which is not fair, but super cool.
Also not fair because I didn't get very many spicy chicken sandwiches.
So were there any weirdos in between?
I mean, there were.
Yeah.
But I definitely had a lot more stories from like college.
Okay. Were you say you were good at dating back then?
Kenny, remember when you were like, I've kissed 4 people, and I'm like, I'm somewhere in the high 20s? I don't know.
Uh-huh.
At that point, by 21, I'm just...
You're like, I stopped counting.
You know.
I have a Google Doc somewhere. It's fine.
So how many spicy chicken sandwiches is that?
None, because I never got one. But there was one incident in college that is like burned in my brain forever as like the worst date in history.
Okay.
There's a guy in my animal science class. I was going to Utah State, and he asked me out on a date. Said he'd pick me up like, I think it was like 7 o'clock, which is like prime time dinner time, right? Like you're expecting dinner.
Totally.
So I didn't eat anything, right? There was no food, 0 food the entire night. I was hangry.
Yeah.
And we went to a pool hall on campus and played pool.
Without snacks, even?
Without snacks. And then watched Jeff Dunham until like midnight. And I was furious and hungry. And so I went home and I was really upset about it. And I told my best friend at the time, Amanda. And the next day, the guy calls and is like, hey, what are you doing on Saturday? And Amanda was there in the room with me and was like, she has nothing on Saturday. So
that's not a friend.
No.
The worst
I would have
friend.
said, I'm busy. I'll be eating food.
So I ended up on a second date.
Oh my gosh.
At like he picked me up at like 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. because we were going ice fishing at Bear Lake. Guess how many fish you can ice fish at Bear Lake? Like 0.
There's no food there either.
There's no fish. So after we didn't catch anything, we went somewhere like west of Logan and tried to catch fish, and also didn't catch fish. And by this time, it's like 4 p.m. No breakfast, no lunch. He's like, well, we were planning on cooking the fish that we caught. It's like there was no backup plan.
My gosh. Was this guy... it broke as a joke?
I don't know. But at that point, I was like, I have to go home and clean.
Yeah,
Like,
I need to wash my hair. I
to
smell
do,
like no fish. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I never wanted to see the guy again until approximately like a couple months later. I was seeing a guy, and which was another fun time because, you know, he went through the entire rules of the game of dating.
Okay.
Shift.
He recited the entire book to me.
Triangle.
Up, down, left, right.
Whatever. We still made out. It was fine.
Jeez. Spicy chicken.
As we're walking out of his room, who was his roommate?
No food guy.
No food fish guy.
Oh no.
It was so awkward.
That's when you go to the
yeah,
kitchen and you take some of his roommate's food.
Did he say anything? Was he like, "Well, I've been wondering what you've been up to"?
There was like, I don't remember the exact exchange, but there was definitely like an awkward exchange. And I think the guy that I was kind of seeing at the time, like I had told him the story,
dude,
and I was like, Bren, it's your roommate, man.
I'm just saying this. I remember that back in the day, up in Logan, there was the Bluebird Cafe. For $6, you could get that giant Bluebird chicken thing. You could share that. That would have fed you for 2 days. Not even $6. He pays nothing. And I get it. Like, college dating is not really dating. It's hanging out. But I'm sorry. You're spending that much time together without eating? That's an issue.
I would have even paid for myself. I didn't care. I just wanted food.
Oh, that's all you ask for. That's your only expectation.
I want the opportunity, at least.
I think that the happy ending here is that your husband is willing to feed you, and I think that's why everything's worked out.
And he's a great cook.
So
yeah, he's a pretty good cook. He feeds me too much, maybe. That's fine.
Josh, I feel like we could keep going, but
we could. I mean, there are a couple stories here. which I feel like we do need to just tell a couple before we
Okay,
go.
okay. Yeah, please do. Sorry, I forgot we were taking up all the time. We had stories to share.
We're getting fairly close to the 1 hour mark, so we have about another hour and a half left of this show, right?
New Josh rules.
Yeah.
Okay, share some stories with us.
So
what do we got?
There are a couple here. First off, Jennifer Stoddard said, I was set up on a blind date by a coworker. When my date came to pick me up, there were 2 tweens in the back seat going on their first date. My date was their chaperone and didn't want to be a third wheel. So he asked my coworker to help him find a date. Wish that would have been communicated beforehand. Oh well, I just rolled with it. Next, we went to a Smith's parking lot to a telescope enthusiast party. Unfortunately, all the telescope owners were extremely hesitant to let a non-owner look through the lens. So there wasn't much for me or the tweens to do. He barely even talked to me, and I didn't want to cramp the tweens' date. So I just wandered around all night. He never called me again, and I was okay with that.
For sure. Oh, that's horrible.
And I love that Spencer followed up with it. Jennifer, I feel for you. I have a similar story. Of course he does.
He's a telescope enthusiast.
Yes.
We know.
There's
what else we
also,
got?
on the other side of the spectrum, there's Allison Fairbanks Gall. And she said, I went on a date with an RM, a return missionary, went to dinner, and after he asked if I wanted to come to his place to play games. Well, games, in quotation marks, was code word for adult film for him. He went to his room where I saw an entire bookshelf of films and a camera in the corner. He then asked if I wanted to, do it, and I told him no. He got pissed and dropped me off a block away from my apartment.
That is a freaking nightmare.
Did he have any Beanie Babies?
I like how that is now the code. If I ever text you guys Beanie Babies, come find me.
Okay,
I'm sharing my location.
I'll bring Mr. Lobster with me. All right,
what else we got?
And then the last one here, and Terry, I want more context on this story because she didn't give much, and we told her to call in, but I know she's kind of busy. She's like, oh boy, do I have a story. How about I've been on 2 blind dates my whole life, and both of them were with the same guy.
Oh, no.
Now, my question is, the second time that you went on a date, did he get blind in between the 2 dates? Was he? I'm just asking. Just asking.
Oh, that's so challenging because it's
anyway,
like you don't really gel. You don't want to go out with this person again. And someone's like, hey, I know someone. He's really nice. And he's also single. Okay, yeah. I'll give it a shot. Same guy.
That's why I love Facebook nowadays, because there's this well, I shouldn't say it these days because I'm past that game. But when people would ask if I wanted to be set up, it's almost this expectation now that they give you their Facebook or whatever so you can stalk them a little bit, which is great.
Yeah.
And
it is.
I didn't have that luxury with Marianne, even though Marianne had that luxury. So thankfully she didn't run away. But
hey, if I had my way, she would have. So it's a good thing we weren't friends.
That's right. All in God's timing.
Yeah, right. All right. Jess, thank you for joining us. We're going to probably need you in the next couple weeks. So stay on the phone, if you will. But yeah, Josh, with all that said, since we're feeling the love, how about you take us out?
Absolutely. You've just listened to The Other Show, starring Kent Dunn, Josh Hansen, and Spencer Myers. The Other Show is produced by Kent Dunn, Josh Hansen, and Spencer Myers. Show design and audio editing is done by me, Josh Hansen, and sales manager is Spencer Myers. The Other Show is generously supported by our friends on Patreon. A huge thank you to our Friends with Benefits tier. These friends are contributing a minimum of $25 a month, which in return comes with some rather significant benefits, including the weekly off-the-cuff episodes of The Other Show, monthly bonus episodes, quarterly live Q&A shows, and exclusive swag and perks. A huge thank you to our favorite Brit, Jonathan Vascar, the lovely and talented Mrs. Robinson, the one, the only Chris Anderson, Brandon from Popfly Cards, Lady Terry A. Finley, the proud Disney mom, Tanya Budge, the other Keith Brown, it's Rick, not Dick, Smith, Dave, and of course, our newest friend with benefits, Melanie Milring. To support The Other Show on Patreon, visit patreon.com/The Other Show to join. Please rate, review, and subscribe to The Other Show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube, or wherever podcasts are found. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and X. To better connect with us and other fans of The Other Show, join our Facebook group, The Other Group. For past episodes, links to our other shows, and to shop for show swag, visit our website at theother.show. And remember, when you're not listening to me here on The Other Show, you can hear me on my other show, The Party in the Back.
You can hear me on my other show, Bacon Cell.
And you can find me performing Lord of the Rings at the Off-Broadway Theater starting April 5th.